And then I was reading about Franz Ferdinand's involvement, where I think Kelly handed a note to Alex Kapranos, and that kind of propelled you onto radio or something.
That was there's two stories there, but yeah, that so one of them was yeah, we saw Alex Kapranos. He was at a gig that we were at, and yeah, we one or both of us would always kind of we had a demo then at that point, like a demo CD that we'd printed like 100 copies of, and we'd always carry it in case we bumped into anyone while we were out at gigs and clubs, and yeah, so Kelly kind of bumped into Alex Kapranos and gave him the demo, and um, yeah, fortunately, he bothered to listen to it and really liked it, and uh, they invited us to support them. They were doing kind of this big showcase gig in London, like a collaboration thing with Domino Records, I think, and so yeah, that was kind of quite a notable gig for us. It was probably like the biggest gig we'd ever played at that point, and there was lots of kind of industry people and so on there. But then the radio one was when we bumped into Steve Lamacq at a gig from I guess it was Radio One at that time. Um, and yeah, and gave him the same demo, and he also kindly listened to it and played it on his radio show. So yeah, they both happened like in a very short space of time, those events. So it was kind of yeah, two kind of key moments that helped us a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And then I read that as you were like getting an interest from labels and stuff, you were always keen not to sign to a major record label. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean we it wasn't like it, it wasn't like a rule we had or anything. I think it was just a wariness we had of what signing to a major label would entail. Um, but we did have like multiple meetings with major labels at that time, so it wasn't something that we ruled out. Um, you know, we met someone from like Beggars Banquet. They were the first label to, or kind of major label to ever show any interest in us, and they offered us like a kind of deal straight away, and we were a bit kind of like blown away. But like the, I don't think we didn't have management or anything in place at that point, and yeah, the deal was kind of from our point of view, it was not very good. Not in terms of like oh loads of money. It was just it was a long deal, and the I mean there was barely any money either. Like so, it meant that we would all have to have full-time jobs and do the band.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think like knowing what I know now, like it probably wouldn't have worked out that way because being a musician, like a record label isn't the sole source of income. But we didn't know the industry very well at that point, and there's lots of unpredictable variables as well. But if we'd done that and the band had still blown up, then because we would have been touring and so on, then yeah, we wouldn't have had full-time jobs. But from our point of view at that point, we had nothing, and they were asking kind of us to just make uh, lots of albums for them with no income. So it just didn't seem like something to get tied into for a long period. And then we met, yeah, we met some other labels, and they were very kind of keen to have a lot of input in how the music sounded, and they had artists on their roster that they were kind of comparing us to that we weren't particularly inspired by, should we
Mm.
say? And
Yeah.
and you know, and it was, you know, it was quite apparent that if we worked with them, that they would have a lot of say over our creativity, which, you know, didn't appeal to us. And then it was when, yeah, when we met Wichita, and you know, the the people that were running it were really nice, and we had good personal chemistry, and they were happy for us to do our own thing, and yeah, kind of have full creative control, which was, you know, the ideal situation from our point of view. So yeah, that was really like, that was the main driver behind our independence, rather than any kind of moral objection to the concept of major labels. I think it was just the creative aspect.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose it's hard when you're young, but you've got to make sure you're not signing like the rights away to royalties and stuff like that, or do you get someone legal to look at stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you do. So, by the time we were, yeah, signing that label, and um, we had management in place, and so on. Then, so we had kind of people helping us with that side of things, and starting to learn how things work. But yeah, certainly, like, yeah, and I kind of wonder, looking back at the, like, the first ever offer that we got, and we had no one else in place. If the I wonder if anyone would have even suggested that we have a solicitor look at it or not, or if they would have been happy for us to sign it, just kind of for youngsters, not really understanding things. So, you know, I guess that was probably a fairly common story, at least back then in the musical industry. I think I feel like there's probably a higher degree of savviness now, especially because you can research things a lot easier
Hmm.
than you could have. But yeah, no, it's kind of, yeah, funny to wonder how things might have panned out.
Yeah, because I like hear about people. Then it sounds like record labels were so keen to sign the next big band that they would sign them and then they would just shelve albums, like not even release them sometimes or something.
Yeah, well, I think generally they were keen to. I mean, I guess they would try and sign bands to long deals,
Hmm.
because then you like, they had the control there, and it was like, okay, well, if things work out with this band, then we've got you for a long time. But but they didn't go the other way. Like, you didn't have the option to like escape if you weren't happy. So yeah,
Yeah.
it used to be quite one sided. I think it's probably less like that now.